In this video, we are going to be looking at how do we do basic file operations with Microsoft Word. That is things like creating a new document, saving it, closing it, and then opening an existing document. So let's go ahead and get started as to how we're going to do this. If I open up Microsoft Word, you'll notice that there is nothing here for me to work on. So I need a document that I can work with. There's a couple ways I can do this, but all of them are going to start over in my File tab. Here you'll see a list of recent documents. These are documents that have been worked with most recently. You're going to see about 10 or so of these documents. You can actually change the number that's there in the settings if you want to. You also have a list of favorites. And if I make a document a favorite, then it's going to be here. These are documents that I come back to a lot if I need to. Now you notice I don't have any favorites, and that's okay as well. If I want to create a blank document, I'm going to simply come over here and click on my blank document. That's all I have to do. Now I have an empty workspace that I can type into. Now, word processing software always starts at the top, and we work our way down, typically from left to right if you're using a language that is read left to right. If you're using a language that's read right to left, that's obviously going to change for you. So here is my document. I'm ready to start typing. I can put anything in this document that I want, and I'm going to go get some what's called Ispsum text just to put something in here. I'm going over here to a Lorum Ispsum generator. I'm just going to get a couple of paragraphs of text. You'll notice that this text is just kind of gobbledygook. And what it is it's actually text in a different language, but it's randomized text. Now, some Ispsum generators will go in and use a specific block of text. We're using kind of a mixed mash bit of text. And the reason we're doing that is just so it's a little bit more random and doesn't look quite so standard. You can go to my website, which will have a link in the description for getting this. I'm going to select this text and copy and paste it in here just so we can see this. We're going to ignore all these little red underlines for right now. You notice there's going to be a bunch of them. So what are we doing with this? Well, I need to put some text in here because often you want to have some sort of text to save. So I'm going to come over here, and the very first time I save it, I can use this save up on my quick access toolbar, or I can go to my file save. It's going to do the same thing. Because I am unsaved and have not saved this document yet, this is always going to come up with a save this file as. It says save as. And you're going to notice it's going to try to give me a file name, which is generally the first line or first several words of my document. So I may want to change this. And then it's going to give me a location. For example, my documents folder. If I want some more options, I can click on more options. Now, I don't want to save this into my documents. So you see I have some sample documents that I can work with. I'm going to choose more locations. This brings me back to my more options that I was talking about before. So you just see that there's more than one place. In this case, I have folders I've recently worked with, both today, last week, and older. I'm going to be working with this specific set of sample files. And click Save. Now, I mentioned that the first time I save a document, it's just like saying save as. That's because I have to give it a location for it to be saved and a file name. Now, this is different than if I just click Save, which is my menu option by default in my quick access toolbar, or if I go to File Save. That says I've already got a file saved. I'm just going to update that save file. That way, changes that occur will be recognized the next time you open the file. And that's a very important thing. because if you make changes to a file and you don't save it, those changes are lost. Now, this can happen for a lot of different reasons, and I've seen everything from losing power due to a storm to someone kicking the power cord on your computer, or even your laptop if you had an old battery and maybe the battery died. Now, luckily for us, Microsoft gives us an autosave. The autosave will automatically save your document every so many minutes. By default, it's like 10 minutes, and you can change that inside of your settings if you would like to. But 10 minutes tends to be about enough time. Because I came from an era where we didn't have autosave, you'll notice that I just randomly twitch and hit Control S, which is a keyboard shortcut to automatically save a document every couple of minutes. I do this because I have lost documents when I had a power outage or someone kicked a power cord, or even both of those cases. So always make sure you save your document, but don't worry too much because autosave will help you out. Now, if you want to save to someplace that you can access your file on another computer, you might look at using something called OneDrive. And if you have a current version of Microsoft Office, you'll have a OneDrive subscription with a certain amount of storage space that you can put files there. Anywhere that you go, you're going to be able to access that file. And if you have Office 365, you'll be able to go in and use the web version to edit. The web version of Microsoft Word is a little bit limited, but allows you to do most things for what most people need. Now, if I want to close this file because I'm done using it, I have a couple different ways I can do that. I can always use the X in the upper right-hand corner. This will both close my file and exit me out of Microsoft Word. Now, if I have unsaved changes, Word will come up and give you a warning saying, hey, do you want to do this? Let's just take a look at what that might look like. Notice it says, ooh, do you want to save the changes to the file before you exit? I can click Save. Yes, it will save it. Don't save, it won't save it, and then we'll exit or cancel. What was I thinking? I don't want to exit out of this document. Now, you may want to get out of Microsoft Word, but you may just be closing that file and say, hey, you know what? I would really like to go do a new file next. I can come over here to File and choose Close. Once again, it's going to say, hey, you made some changes. Do you want to save it? I'm going to say don't save. It eliminates my file from my working space and allows me to keep Word open. That way I can open a new document, create a new document, etc. This is a little bit faster than if I close Word down, then have to restart it all the way back up. So let's see, how do we open a new file? Well, there's two common ways. I've already talked about one of them. First is I'm going to click on my File tab, and I have my recent documents that I can work with. This is the most common way if I'm working on a file that I was maybe working on the last couple of days, like a return report or something like that. I was recently having to work on a major report. This is something I used as I worked on it over about 4 or 5 days creating this report. The other way is I can use the open command. The open command will take me to a slightly different looking page, has a few more recent documents you can see, and tells you about when I worked on them. I can also automatically go into my OneDrive and look there. I can also go into this PC or even browse. If I choose browse, it's going to know the folder I was most recently in, and I can choose a file from there, or I can navigate using my file menu on my left-hand side and navigating to, for example, documents and finding folders and subfolders, etc. This makes it very fast and easy for me to work in saving, loading files. Now, if I want a couple of quick shortcuts, I mentioned Control S saves. Well, let me give you another quick one. Control O is open. And so if you want to be really fast, instead of going up to the menu bars and stuff like that, learn these couple quick shortcuts. Control S for save, Control O for open. I hope you found this video helpful for you. Next up, we're going to look at how do we start working with creating files from a template. Very important, something that you want to take a look at. So stay tuned for this next video.